My friends is Osa. He's a yellow mage like from the first game. He carries around the beheaded witch, which is just Nashra again from the last game. He left home in order to pursue magic and enlightenment. After following the god Almar, the god of destruction, he ended up participating in a war, and during that war he ended up finding Nashra's head, and then he started to look out for the tournament around the time it was coming out. So he's one of the only contestants that actually know about this place because he wanted to be here. The man in the suit is talking to himself. He seems to be completely lost in his own thought. I'm late already, so late. This is the one and only time we will get to see all the other combatants in this Termina night. The Knights of Termina. Because after this we all spread out. They show me where I'm supposed to go, and that's pretty much into the prevails, like the middle is where we want to head, because that's where it will really take place around like the last day or so. So to begin, I obviously just start looking for whatever I can find so I can loot it, obviously. On what was supposed to be a peaceful expedition, I come across this murderer. Termina is upon us, fighting this naked barbaric man who had never heard again, got his nuts all hanging out. I was doing my best. After using all my rev ups, I was able to take off his arm, but he ultimately hits me with a coin flip, which I end up losing. And upon losing, this man's bony appendage grasped my face, violently thrust tentacles down my throat, which just so happened to be cold, and put fluid in my mouth. Then it just stays on my face and stuns me till he kills me. This, my friend, is Marco Joestar. Marco was a boxer working for the mob, but one night he had to kill his opponent. After doing so, he realized how he wanted to stray away from the life, so he ultimately ran away. So actually getting to play the intro this time, I just moved all the way through the carts. I've been looking for you everywhere. Just where did you think you ran off to? Don't you understand the hurry we are in? What hurry? That janitor's out. Yeah, he has me building blocks, like what does it even matter? This man should have hired a character from Minecraft for Roblox, cause I'm not cut out for all this. I'm a boxer. The girl in the pink tries to get our attention, which she ultimately does, before escaping and pretty much telling us to do the same. So we do, but we get caught up in a fight with the janitor, so we simply take his ass on. So I, Marco Joestar, begin my ultimate battle with the janitor, taking off each limb first, hand by hand. Well, maybe it's me, because I need to get that off anyways. Searching his body, we find the Kasara. We move on into a room with the new gods again from the last game. I didn't actually get this far in my videos, oh well. This, my friends, is the god of fear and hunger. Well, the gods of other tournaments. I might come back to them, but for now, I'm gonna leave it. Just know that we're doing it for the moon. First thing I do is go get it back in blood on this woodsman who was thinking everything was sweet, cause it ain't. So after killing the bastard, I end up going through his house trying to just loot whatever goods that I can find, and upon killing him, you do get a key to the basement. So I go and sleep. At this point I realize if you sleep too many times, you end up not coming back, but we'll come back to that thought. Anywho, we go through the basement because we got the key for it, but there's nothing really down here. There is a seemingly dead old lady here. She seems to have a piece of paper. She's been dead for a while, judging by the looks. There's slits on her wrist. You can't tell which one is her demise. She's holding a piece of paper though, so I read the piece of paper. I'll reunite with my lover on the other side. Moving along, I try to recruit a goat, but anything you do to it, it just tells you about how much it doesn't care. Moving along again, I end up trying to get the coin flip on this guy, because once you get them to remove their mask, you instantly have a coin flip opportunity. If you win, they ultimately breathe in their own gas and die, but if you lose like I always do, they simply just keep spraying you with the gas. Help me! Coming back, I take a different route and get into it with the dog. Then open up a hatch that's in the ground and ultimately decide to go in it. After realizing I had to turn on the generator, I get the gas to do so. Run back to the elevator. to where I see this monster who's apparently a Bella in her moon scorched form. Taking the elevator down, I find where I'm supposed to grab the key and I get it. With Abella still on my ass, I decide to go on some drawing and it ultimately teleports me to some new dimension with some new enemies who look...
Who the fuck is that guy?
Pretty terrifying. Yeah, terrifying is the right word. Ultimately, I take out one and then find my way out. Coming up and out of the tunnel, we meet somebody. Oh. You made it out alive. I take it you found the key for the city gates. Oh, yes, that's the one. The one with the eagle. Good, good. I would have gotten it myself, but you never know what lurks in the deeper depths of this soil. Besides, the festival is only at its beginning. I don't want to do anything to risk just yet. Now I know you can be a reasonable person, so would you please open those city gates? I got some other business to attend to. So be killing you later. I mean seeing you later. Seeing as how I only have one of the keys, I have to go and find the next one, but not before killing some enemies and actually hitting the coin toss this time. We found out the dude who's stressing about being late's name is Tanaka, but it don't really matter. We talked to the wheelchair girl who can join our squad, but she doesn't have her wheelchair, so she actually can't. Oh well. I find a character with a shotgun who I took out, ultimately hoping to find a shotgun, but you don't get really nothing from them in this early. I find a man barely alive, so first I loot him. He has some money on him, then we just finish him off. Good afternoon, mister. From what I understand, you are a newcomer to this town too, no? We just got a new mayor to the old town. I'm sure they'll be thrilled to meet another newcomer. Please, he's waiting in the dining room. We ultimately meet this girl who tells us she's been kidnapped by the mayor or whatever. It don't really matter. This is the mayor. If you talk to him wrong in any scenario, he'll just get up and start whooping you. So your best scenario is to talk to him politely this entire time. So when he says sit down, you sit down, or things get serious. So after throwing us a whole bunch of weird looking foods that if we disrespect him on answering, he will fight us. He'll ask if we're with the Kaiser army. If we say no, we get the key. As simple as that. At this point, I wasted my shillings, cause mark my words, I should have got green herb. At this point, I run into Dan and Karine, but neither can join my group yet, so who cares about them. Moving along. Having both the keys now and being eager to progress the story, I decide to open the gate. Going into the first building I actually could, it doesn't take me long to realize almost all these buildings have nothing worth looting in plain sight. Maybe behind locked doors I couldn't get in, but most of the places have nothing worth looting. Moving along, I found an enemy with a bunch of batons who pretty much thinks that they the law. So we tried talking to them and telling them that we're fine, but they tell us that we're condemned and they have to serve us with justice. So we take them on, limb by limb. These enemies are odd because once they're dead, if you don't stomp on them to stop their heartbeat, they'll actually just get right back up. At this point in time, I run into Pocket Cat, who is still a salesman like in the first game, but this time he's not interested in human children. What Pocket Cat is interested in is other contestants' heads, but he's only really trading off books and shit, so it don't really matter. At this point, I end up fighting a witch. A witch can summon rats as she fights you. The rat will attack before you on every turn, and her herself has some magic abilities. The only issue with them is they infect you. The infection can only be cured by green herbs, which I have none of. And I very soon realized it's very scarce on green herbs, and every other enemy here gives you an ailment status. This enemy is called the Inquisitor. He has his own moveset but can ultimately also ring a bell to call a police officer to his side at any point in combat, well, on any one of his turns. Thinking my downfall was going to be from the multiple infections both of my characters had anyways, I was wrong as it was from an Inquisitor. At this point, I run into the clown from the Terrifier, who actually surprisingly is a strong fight as he takes so much damage. Has a coin flip of his own. And even if you do get this man all the way down to half health, he pulls out the blood. And his coin flip, if you lose it, it stuns you for pretty much the entire fight. I didn't get a single turn. Coming to I'm in a dungeon and I'm just stuck to a wall, chained here, up until a red spirit comes up to us and gives us a release. Ultimately, I head right back to where I was and run right back into Needles, so retaking them back on, we are able to ultimately beat the gun-wielding bandit, Billy the Kid over here. At this point, I make my way into the sewers. Moving around, there's a lot of hostiles, but I ultimately run into Levi. He just runs at you. It's kinda sad fighting them in this form, as they're clearly out of their mind, and in his case, he was weak too. So it didn't even feel too fair. Also, let it be known the whole time that I'm in the sewer, I'm looking for a new green herb, because I'm infected again. Looting Levi's stuff, we see he got some pretty good junk. At first glance, I thought a guard from Fear and Hunger 1 jumped out of the sky. But already infected and knowing this playthrough was over, I decided who really cares and gave it my absolute best to beat this titan of a beehive that's walking. With my character ready to succumb at any second to any of his illnesses, I took on any battle possible and ultimately got killed again by Inquisitor. At this point, I ran back into Needles and he was a complete pushover, knowing that there's the gun actually gonna come out now. I guess that it was a little worse as it was like a shock factor, and he did beat me on the coin flip, but I wanted to just put in me actually destroying this clown here. Walking into a store, I try to grab a blue herb. Hey, keep your dirty paws off my pot. What's your name, pal? Marco. F you, Marco. Now that's the introductions are out the way. What do you want, stranger? He's a high-end endgame merchant, so I don't really buy nothing from him. I do go back though, even though we ain't supposed to, and I touch some genie thing and rub it up, and ultimately drop it to where a genie came out and tried to kill me, so I just ran out. After we ran out, he asked if we were back there and dropped anything. We just left. You didn't go downstairs, did you? There are things that would best be forgotten. Touching and groping things you don't understand never ends well. At this point, I stock up on shillings and go grab some green herbs, and I find a save point. Something is moving inside you. Something primal trying to get out of your hollow shell. Your body is bursting at its seams. So yeah, that's because I saved too much. So coming back, I'm still easily gonna get infected. But going through the school, I fall through the floor and ultimately run into whatever this is. Goofy enemy, oh no. Seeing as how enemies in Fear and Hunger 1, well, I mean NPCs that were just see-through couldn't attack me, I thought that this one couldn't do neither. So I tried talking it out and it didn't want to talk nothing out, and it just kept on touching me till I lost all my sanity. Taking on the Dark Priest, I was well prepared for a 1v1, and he did good, but not good enough. Ultimately, due to an infection I get later game, I end up like this skeleton, dead.